Satya Dharma Reflection on June the 1st, 2022. There is no need to separate the disregard from all things. Simultaneously proceed all together. Because the disregard doesn't mean anything as it is. Why separate the disregard from anything? That's gonna be a delusion. Everything is disregard. Disregard even from the disregard itself. There is no need to separate the emptiness from all things, because emptiness is not emptiness as it is. The disregard or the non-attachment is not about anything in itself. Therefore, proceed simultaneously all together, so that there will be simultaneous purification. The emptiness is not itself as it is. Therefore, don't be engrossed to be deludedly empty out from anything. Non-attachment doesn't mean anything as it is. Therefore, don't be deluded to non-attach to anything whatsoever. There is no need to separate or distinguish or discriminate. The non-attachment is not itself. Proceed altogether with everything without discrimination, without separation. Samsara and Nibba proceed altogether so that there will be purification. There is no need to separate from each other. There is no need to separate the non-attachment from the mind, or from any states of mind, or from any conditions, or any types of Dharma whatsoever. There is no need to separate the disregard or non-attachment from all things. Non-attachment is not itself. Proceed simultaneously with everything. Non-attachment is not itself. It's not a state of mind. It's not any conditions. Non-attachment is not even itself. Therefore, it's not in the status to separate from anything whatsoever. To separate the non-attachment from anything, it becomes a delusion. Right away, it's a delusion. Non-attachment is not itself as it is. Therefore, it's impossible to separate it from anything, because it's going to be a delusion immediately. Emptiness is not itself as it is. So don't separate emptiness from anything, because that is a deluded viewpoint. Give no significance to the disregard itself simultaneously with all types of states of mind, all types of Dharma, and all the assumed things. The disregard doesn't mean anything as it is. Therefore, it's impossible to disregard from anything, because that is a delusion within itself. The disregard doesn't mean anything as it is. How can it be deludedly disregard from anything? Disregard from something is a delusion to disregard. There is no need to separate Nibbana from Samsara or Samsara from Nibbana. Why is it so? Because Nibbana is not about anything as it is. The emptiness doesn't mean anything as it is. Non-attachment is not itself simultaneously with everything. Don't separate the liberation from all things. Liberation is meaningless in itself. It's not about anything within the liberation itself, so don't separate liberation from anything whatsoever. In this way, it will be Nirodha and Nibbana, purifying samsara without limits. In the way without having to do with time, without choosing any situations or circumstances. simultaneously proceeding all together, without discrimination, without choosing time or circumstances. The liberation doesn't mean anything as it is. Therefore, don't separate the liberation from anything. There is no need to separate detachment or liberation from anything whatsoever. It doesn't mean anything as it is. Don't be deluded to liberate or detach from anything or disregard from anything whatsoever. The disregard doesn't mean anything as it is, child. Proceed all together with everything simultaneously, so that it will be simultaneous purification of the extinction and the emptiness by ways of assumed terminologies. The non-attachment doesn't mean anything as it is. It is not even itself. Therefore, don't be engrossed with significance and meanings to non-attachment or attachment. That which is called non-attachment is not itself, proceeds simultaneously with everything, without choosing internally or externally, body or mind, form or formlessness. Non-attachment is not itself, proceeds simultaneously with everything. The non-attachment is meaningless in itself as it is. It's not about anything within itself as it is. There is no need to separate anything from anything. Then it will be simultaneous purification of the emptiness for all. There is no need to separate anything from anything. There is no need to distinguish anything. The emptiness doesn't mean anything as it is. The non-attachment is not itself as it is. Therefore, don't be deluded to separate. Don't be engrossed to deludedly empty out from all things. Emptiness is meaningless in itself. It's not in the status to separate from anything at all, because the emptiness is not a status, is not classified as anything at all. The non-attachment either is not classified as anything, is not a condition, is not the mind. The non-attachment is not any types of Dharma. The non-attachment is not even itself. The non-attachment is not even itself. The non-attachment is not itself. The emptiness is not itself. Why being deluded to be empty or not empty? That is deluded viewpoint, which is assumed up. Still being deluded to the Tithi. The emptiness is not itself. Therefore, don't be engrossed with being deluded to empty out or not in this way and that way. Don't be deluded to the empty or not empty with anything. The emptiness is not significant in itself. The emptiness is not considered as anything. The non-attachment is not itself. It's not about something non-attached or not from anything. No significance to the non-attachment itself. Don't be deludedly attempting to disregard or not, non-attached or not towards anything. The non-attachment is not significant in itself. This is not about attempting to non-attach or not from anything. The non-attachment is not itself. This is not about disregarding from anything. No is not no itself. Don't be deluded to reject anything. Don't be deluded to no to something. No is not even no itself. What is there that is deludedly yes and no with anything? What is there that is attempting to yes and no with anything? No is not even no itself. The emptiness is not itself. What is there that is attempting to empty out or not with anything? What is there that is empty out from anything? What is there that is attempting to be empty from anything? What is there that is attempting to disregard from anything? The disregard doesn't mean anything in itself. Therefore, don't be deludedly separating the disregard or the emptiness from anything. Don't be deluded. The emptiness is not significant in itself, so don't be deludedly empty out from anything. Give no significance and meanings to the disregard itself. Don't be obsessed to attempt to disregard on and on. Don't be deludedly disregard from anything whatsoever. Don't be deludedly attempting to disregard. The disregard has no significance in itself. No is not even no itself. The emptiness is not itself. The extinction is not itself. Nothing is within the extinction itself. Don't be obsessed to give meanings and significance to extinction or not. Extinction is not significant in itself, so don't be obsessed to give significance and meanings to it. Don't separate the non-attachment from anything. Don't separate the detachment from anything. It doesn't mean anything. It has no significance in itself. The difficulties is because of the separation to this and that on and on. Being obsessed to attempt to disregard from this and that, therefore it becomes difficulties. Disregard from the disregard itself, give no significance to it. Don't be obsessed to uninvolve with this and that or whatsoever, uninvolved within the uninvolved itself. No is not no itself. Don't separate no from anything. Therefore, it will not be about Nibbana or Samsara. No significance and meanings to Samsara nor Nibbana. Altogether, this will end altogether internally and externally. To be engrossed with meanings and significance to Samsara and Nibbana. This is only about deluded viewpoint. No is not the no itself, child. Don't be engrossed with no until it becomes suffering. It's torturing. No is not no itself. Don't be obsessed to deludedly no to anything is suffering, torturing. The liberation doesn't mean anything, so don't be deluded to liberate from anything whatsoever. Let's conclude through Nirodha and Nibbana. Non-attachment doesn't mean anything. The disregard doesn't mean anything, so don't try to disregard from anything. The emptiness is not itself, so don't separate emptiness from anything whatsoever. To add more opinions and meanings to anything is going to be the karmic habits that prolong further on endlessly. Give no significance to the non-attachment itself. This will be automatic purification of the extinction. To use karmic habits in looking, seeing and knowing will lead oneself towards difficulties. No is not no itself. Don't use titi. When giving no significance to the disregard itself, awakening doesn't mean anything in itself either. Brightening has no meaning in itself either. By this essence, one can help end for samsara in a way that is graciously. Give no significance and meanings to the disregard itself, so that there will be no burden to take on the titi. Give no significance and meanings to the disregard itself. It will automatically purify all the rejection to this and that. Continue to make a conclusion towards ending.